Hey, what's going on, folks? Edgar in the house talking Bucs football. And I'm going to talk about the 2019 Tampa Bay Buccaneers mock draft. It's been a hectic offseason for the Buccaneers based on free agent signings, exception of Donovan Smith signing a 3-year extension, and the rest are pretty much like a 1-year deal, buy low, sell high type deals. I'm not gonna go through the entire free agent unless you could find out yourself. And the Bucs draft needs, my main focus I could see them looking at is defensive tackle, defensive end, and an offensive tackle. Those three you focus on based on the trenches I'm gonna cover. And also from there you go look at linebacker, cornerback, running back, and offensive guard. And also could play some center as well. And here's the draft strategy I recommend. In the first round, say for example, if they stick with the 5th round pick, I look at defensive end. It's my top priority, defensive end. And my third priority is linebacker. And then same goes for the 2nd round, 3rd round, and so on and so forth. This is not based on trading up and trading down. This is straight through picks I'm going to cover. My first round targets I'm going to look at is my top priority is Quinn Williams out of Alabama, defensive tackle. If he's not there on the board, the next thing I'll look at is either Ed Oliver from Houston or Montez Sweat, the defensive end from Mississippi State. And also look at Rashard Gary. If those are not, they're not around, I look at Devin White and Devin Bush, the linebackers from LSU and Michigan. And Devin White's been the talk, possibly to go to number 5, but we'll see. Then again, Jason Light has a tendency to draft linebackers from LSU. Either of those picks, either of them, they'll look at. I won't have a problem with either or. They're acceptable. And here we go. First round pick, 5th overall. I have the Buccaneers taking Ed Oliver, the defensive tackle for Houston. The information is 6'3", 292-pounder, and a first-team All-American from 2016 to 2018. The AAC Defensive Player of the Year from 2017, and the Outline Trophy winner. That's the interior lineman, and his numbers is in 8 games. And these are the numbers: 25, 20, 29, 25, 54. That's a solo assist in total altogether in tackles. He registered 3 sacks, 2 pass defense, and a forced fumble. And career-wise, in 32 games, these are his total tackles: 13.5 sacks, 11 pass defense, forced fumble, and 5 fumble recoveries. And he will fit well next to a Villa and the defensive license. They have drafted Villa, Stevie T, and Noah Spence since 2014. And now it's time to add some more youth in the defensive line. Since the Gerald McCoy situation has been up and down, I'm afraid to say this, but it's time to cut the cord with him. And since you have to sign 7 draft picks total, which is $10 million, and don't forget the undrafted free agents, they gotta make room for. Since they have $1 million cap space, they have to find a replacement for Gerald McCoy. I believe Ed Oliver will be that guy. My second round pick, 39th overall, I have the Buccaneers taking cornerback Amani Oruwariye from Penn State. And he's 6'2", 205-pounder, 4-year senior. And his numbers in 13 games, he has 50 total tackles, no sacks, 3 interceptions, 11 pass breakups, no fumble recoveries, and a forced fumble. And in 38 games, there are his numbers based on tackles, 106 total, no sacks, 8 interceptions, 20 pass breakups, 4 a fumble recovery, and a forced fumble, which is pretty good. And he'll show up pretty well in the cornerback situation, along with Vernon Hargreaves that will line up outside, and Carlton Davis. That will give him the third option as a cornerback, line in the slot. You could groom him to be a starter down the road. If things don't go well with VH3, I could see him as a poor man's version of Brian Kelly. Then in the cornerback situation, you have, I believe, Ryan Smith and Devontae Harris along with that, and he'll add pretty well based on cornerback depth. I have the third round, 70th overall, Buccaneers select offensive tackle Titus Howard out of Alabama State. Profile: he's a 6'6", 322-pounder, a 4-year starter from Alabama State in 28 games career total. In 2017, he led his team in pancake blocks and he allowed 1 sack. And here's another note: while he was in Alabama State, his team averaged 373 yards per game. That's a total. He will fit well in the offensive tackle situation based on Demir Dotson. He has 1 year left and he's 34 years old. He's not getting any younger, and he has declined for the last 2-3 seasons. And you have Caleb Bannock, and he's in his last year in his rookie contract. He's either do or die for him. And you could, if you draft him, he could throw it in the mix and provide some competition. Let's see what happens there. And I could see him project to be a starter down the road. 4th round, 107th pick overall. I have the Buccaneers taking defensive end Joe Jackson out of Miami, Florida. He's the 6'6", 260-pound pass rusher. He's a 3-year starter. He left after his junior year. His numbers are 12 games, 47 total tackles, 8.5 sacks and an interception that went the distance, 3 pass defense, and 2 forced fumble. Here's his career numbers in 35 games, under 29 total tackles, 22.5 sacks, and an interception goes for a touchdown, 5 pass defense, 2 fumble recoveries that went for a touchdown, and 5 forced fumbles. And right here, you could have them. You can have them lining up on the defensive end, or you can have them stand up and in the 3-4-4-3. He'll be a good, a perfect guy to be groomed under Jason Pierre-Paul, and you have defensive ends like Pat O'Connor and Carl Nassib. Noah Spence was labeled to be a defensive end, but they have him penciled in as a offensive, outside linebacker. I'm sorry. And then right there, let's see, Joe Jackson. I could see him get some playing time, but not as an immediate impact type player right away. But he's a guy to watch out for, which I have the Buccaneers taking in that round. In the 5th round, 145th overall, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Cody Barton, the linebacker out of Utah. He's a 6'2", 237-pound linebacker. He's a 4-year starter and a captain for for the Utah Utes. In 2018 and 14 games, he had 117 total tackles, 4 sacks, interceptions, 6 pass defense, and what is he? FRFF. That's fumble recoveries and forced fumble. And career totals are 39 games. You see 235 total tackles, 9 sacks, interception, 10 pass defense, 3 fumble recoveries, and a forced fumble. And he could be in the mix in the inside linebacker, or line him out outside linebacker on the strong side. He could be moved anywhere. He's a versatile player as a linebacker. Based on the Kendall Beckwith situation, that's up for grabs. And you have Jack Cichy, that's coming back from an injury. And you have Levante David. And also you have Shaq Barrett, that's been acquired by the Broncos. And you have Riley Bullock, that's a figure in the mix. And you have Deion Buchanan. That's a lot of depth right there. He could to add some more depth in that linebacking core. He could fight for a spot, and he could probably get some playing time. Maybe in a couple of games here and there. And probably be a special teams player. See what happens. 6th round, 208th pick overall. I have the Buccaneers taking Tony Pollard out of Memphis. He's a 6', 208-pounder, redshirt junior, and his numbers from 2018 is in 14 games. In rushing 78 attempts for 552 yards, and he took it to the house 6 times. And receiving with 39 catches, 458 yards, and he caught for 3 touchdowns and 117 plays. And those are his total numbers based on yards and touchdowns. And I assume that is punt and kickoff returns, and this are his career numbers, as you can see right here. And he could add to the running back core of Sean Wilson, Peyton Barber, Ronald Jones, and Dari Igbawike, if I'm saying his name right, and Ellington. And he could be like a poor man's version of Alvin Kamara. You could have him line up at running back. You could have him in the slot as a wide receiver. He has some experience there as well. And you could create mismatches in the outside. If you have the 3 wide receivers, you put Godwin. You have Mike Evans, you have Perryman. You could have this guy, have him in motion, be the 4th wide receiver. You could go underneath and you could catch some balls, which is a nice, pretty much another weapon to add for Winston. The 7th round pick. The last pick, I have the Buccaneers taking offensive guard Alex Barnes from Notre Dame. He's 6'6", 312-pounder, and he started 5 games at left guard before that knee injury hit him that cut short of his season. In 2015, he started 2 games at left guard. In 2016, in 12 games, he started at right tackle, and he started in 13 games at right guard. He allowed 1 sack, 1 quarterback hit, 9 quarterback hurries out of 830 snaps. In 2017, he was at one point he was ranked the 32nd among run blocking for the highest ranked guard according to Pro Football Focus. In 2018, he was the captain in the Sporting News preseason first team All-American in 2018, and he was on the Outland Trophy watch list in 2018. That's both of last year, and he was under those pretty good Notre Dame offensive linemen with Quentin Nelson, McGinley, and last year he played with Mustafar, and he's also getting projected to be in the NFL draft. And he'll provide some good depth right there. You can have him play all over the place, play tackle, guard on both sides, and also he could fill in some spots with the backups to Marpet and Kappa and Wofford, and you have Mike Licky and who's the other guy I'm thinking of? Oh yeah, Cole Boozer, who was their undrafted free agent last year. And I have Alex Barr with the Buccaneers provide that competition, which I like him as a player. And here's my undrafted free agents. I'm gonna scroll at right quick, and they have David Blau out of Purdue. He'll provide some quarterback depth with Jameis Winston, Ryan Griffin, Callahan, Blaine Gabbert, and he had a good season 2018 under second year Jeff Brom, and he played in the East-West Shrine game. Darren Hall out of Pittsburgh, he's like a faster Peyton Barber. He just runs between the tackles. And Nick Linder and Eberly, those two are the interior linemen. So is Tyler Davis. They could play guard and center. And Devin Johnson is a offensive tackle for Ferris State. He could play some left tackle and right tackle. He could provide some depth for Dotson and Donovan Smith. And I have Malik Carey for UNC to look at, and Hager out of Texas. And Hager's a speedy pass rusher. And another Todd Bowles, a connection with Michael Dogby out of Temple. He's a pretty good run stopper. Trey Watson from Maryland. He led his team in tackles, even though he played in the first couple years under Illinois had to play with different systems with Cubed, Beckman, and Lovey. Then he got out of there since it was a mess down there. He wanted the playing time. And you have Deshaun Davis out of Auburn. He'll be like a practice squatter or a special teams guy. He was a captain for them in 4 years. And the knack of him is he is very undersized for playing linebacker. And you have Devontae Davis from Texas, and Jordan Miller from Washington, and Montrell Davis out of Gannon University, who plays cornerback and safety. when I looked at the a brief tape of him. So, anyways, that's all I got. What do you guys think? Oh, will you agree to disagree? What are your mock predictions? So, anyways, I'm about to sign on out. This is Edgar in the house talking Bucs football. Peace. Go Bucs.